So Riders DX interview video with one of the main guys from THQ Nordic, I believe, or Purple Lamp. I don't know. I didn't really get the specifications on that. It just concluded, and I want to give you guys pretty much the top news of what we learned for this interview. So of course, a lot of questions that we were begging to have answered have been answered, and some of them are actually more surprising than you think. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 most important pieces of information that we learned for Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated in this interview that he had. So first things first, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more Battle for Bikini Bottom content. I am here every day of the week. I'm live streaming constantly, as well as, you know, just giving you guys the news of other video games. So if you guys are interested, just be sure to subscribe. And for those of you guys who are, just make sure to like this video because it does help the channel a lot. So without further ado, let's actually get into this, shall we? So the first question, or at least the first thing that we found out about this whole interview, is about the cut content. So there were a lot of questions pertaining to like what pieces of cut content are going to be in this game. Like, we already know Robot Squidward's in this game, so that's pretty much a given, but like we never actually got any details of like the more, I guess, the more nitty-gritty stuff. So one of the main questions was, is Patrick's dream going to be in this game? So obviously the answer is going to be no, not in the story mode at least, but there are some levels or some islands in the multiplayer where they actually draw inspiration for Patrick's dream in this game. So yeah, Patrick's dream is going to be in this game somewhat, not in the story mode, but it is going to be in the multiplayer in some various islands. So it's nothing really too crazy, but you know, it's there. Like, it's better than nothing, basically. So another piece of cut content that we actually learned about is the Muscle Bob pants. So basically, for those of you guys who have actually delved deep into the files of this game, or you know, like you've actually researched all this stuff, you guys would know that there was actually a cut part of the SpongeBob, or the robot SpongeBob battle, where in the second phase, instead of actually going into his brain, you'd actually have to deal with basically the robot SpongeBob in his anchor arms. So you would have to deal with that, and then once you finish that, then you go into the brain. So what we learned about all this is that he's not going to be in the story mode, but he is actually going to be in the multiplayer mode. I don't know if he's going to be like some sort of mini boss, or maybe some sort of like just actually a robot within the waves of enemies that you have to fight. But yeah, he's actually going to be in this game, just probably, well, just mainly multiplayer. But the whole gist of this whole cut content question that we got is that, well, the answer pretty much is that everything that got cut pretty much is going to remain in multiplayer. So really, the story mode's going to stay pretty much the same. The reasoning behind all this is because they wanted to keep the game true to the original, at least when it comes to the story mode. So yeah, they didn't want to make too many changes, which actually brings us to the second question that we got in this game. So a lot of people have been wondering about Mr. Krabs in Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, specifically when it comes to the voice actor. So of course, if you've watched SpongeBob like your whole life, you would know that Clancy Brown is the voice actor for Mr. Krabs. But it's a different voice actor when it comes to Battle for Bikini Bottom, and people were asking, is Clancy Brown going to replace the original Mr. Krabs voice actor from the original Battle for Bikini Bottom? So pretty much the answer is no. They had to deal with some legal things or something. Like, there's all these legal problems that they were having that they couldn't do this. So yeah, it's unfortunately he's gonna stay the same, and honestly I think it's for the best. You know, they also said that they like I said before, they didn't want to change too much of it, and like people are pretty much already used to hearing Mr. Krabs' voice in the original game, so taking that away would kind of like impact our experience in a negative way. So another question that came up in the interview was, are there going to be alternative outfits for the characters in this game? So the answer is pretty much no. So they don't really have any plans pertaining to that. I know there was a secret outfit for SpongeBob if you managed to use a cheat called the Pantsless SpongeBob cheat. So basically what that does is just like it pretty much removes the back part of his the back part of his pants, so basically you could see his butt whenever he's like walking, because you could see him from a third person's perspective, and you can only see him from like on his back when he's moving. So yeah, that was actually that was a very good question in my opinion, because we never really think about that. We never think about alternative costumes, but yeah, no, they're not gonna come up. I mean, they don't have any plans to release that, and they also said that it's kind of based on reaction, like how do we feel about it, right? Like, do we feel like there should be like different costumes? It's really up to us. Like, then we have to like give them the feedback, and maybe they could do it. So the next question is, will there be cheat codes in the game? The developer basically said no. They really have no plans to release cheats in the game, mainly because they felt like it would be a little bit too easy, for people to do that. But they did say there was a possibility for cheats or like hacks to be available on the PC, obviously, because you could add mods into the game. And I know some of you guys who actually play PCs, you guys would know that. Well, you guys are actually telling me that you guys want to actually mod the game and see how that goes, right? So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing how that works for the PC. But as for consoles, we're not gonna be able to have those cheats again. And to be honest, it's a pretty good idea, because I know some people are tempted to just cheat their way through the entire game. So like they'll cheat their way to get more spatulas like instantly, so they'll just cheese it. But nah, I think it's a good idea that we're not getting cheats at all. So for the fifth and final thing that we actually had answered, well, one of the main questions, it's not really something that we really asked too much. It's one of those little simple questions that we probably thought was far-fetched to ever really be answered, even at this point before the game's even released. Riders DX went on to ask him if there's going to be some sort of sequel to Battle for Bikini Bottom, and he asked like, oh, do you guys have any ideas if you ever make one? And he's like, oh yeah, we have plenty of ideas. So of course I was looking at the chat, and everyone was just going crazy and going nuts, like saying that holy shit, there's actually going to be I guess a sequel to Battle for Bikini Bottom in the future. But we must actually take note that we don't know what this sequel is actually going to be. Like, for all we know, this could be the movie remake. It's still possible that it could happen. It's kind of sad that we didn't really get an answer for that, or no one really bothered to ask that. But having a sequel to the game, that's actually kind of tricky. I know they said they had their ideas, but I don't know how they're going to execute it. Like, I'm kind of scared that like if it becomes like a completely different thing from like platforming, it's going to kind of like ruin it for us. But I don't know, maybe they have a plan, that like a master plan for that game, but we don't know. So Battle for Bikini Bottom 2 is potentially something that could happen in the future, but this is like years from now, so let's not worry about it. So yeah, these are pretty much the main things that we learned from this interview. The interview was probably almost an hour long, maybe 45 minutes long. It wasn't really that crazy, but yeah, it was interesting to know a little bit more about the game's development. It is pretty interesting, like to say the least. I mean, there's a lot that we learned. Just the Muscle Bob buff pants, we learned about that one. We learned about there might be a sequel to this game in the future, whether it be the movie game remake or whether it be an actual sequel. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Like I said, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated content. And for those of you guys who are still subscribed, make sure to like this video because it does help the channel a lot. And once again, my name is Triforce Addiction. Have a wonderful day.